for them last season, and she's going to have to be the leader on the floor this year as well.
Genesis Parker, really one of the sure things that have come back to this Bulldog lineup this year. It is a fun environment in Hinkle again. How often does this happen? Only 3 times in history, the Bulldogs and the Hoosiers have gotten each other here in Indianapolis. And the Hoosiers win the opening tip. It is controlled by Nicole Cardano-Hillary, the transfer from George Mason. Again, as Megan said, this lineup staying the same from their Elite 8 run last year. Terry Moore in her 8th season, as that's fed along the baseline, and Butler picks up a steal. Here's Genesis Parker. It is the freshman Trinity White pulling from 3. That rattles along the rim and out, and Cardano-Hillary maintains. Grace Berger, 4 points away from 1,000 in her career. Here's Allie Patberg. She's got a heck of a story. We'll tell you about that as Holmes pulls from the top of the key, and it bounces in.
Indiana not a team that wants to look to shoot the 3 automatically. Mackenzie Holmes adding that to her toolbox, able to step out and knock the 3. Butler already packing the paint early, not allowing easy buckets.
This was a Hoosiers team that only shot at 32% from three-point land last year. Didn't take a lot of attempts. Here's the freshman Alex Richard out of Avon, the local product, with her first collegiate points. It's 3-2. Dropped off for Alexa Goulbay, now back inside for Holmes. They double her immediately. We saw a lot of that at shoot-around this morning as that goes to the Butler bench.
Well, already Butler doing a nice job defensively, packing the paint, crowding Holmes. They want to force Indiana to shoot the ball. The Hoosiers, again, not a team that likes to shoot. In fact, they averaged about 5 made three-pointers a season ago. So if Butler is going to have Indiana beat them, they want them to beat them on the three-point line.
Genesis Parker runs the offense for Butler. That trickled away from her, and it winds up out of bounds. So a couple turnovers each side to start here. A lot of red, a lot of blue in the stands. And Grace Berger in her senior season. The 6-foot forward pulls up from the free throw line. The board back to Richard. And one thing, Megan, that Kirk Godlewski talked about, if Butler's going to achieve success this year, it all starts with the freshman class being a hit, specifically with Alex Richard.
And partially what's nice about having a freshman class that has to play is they're getting that experience really young, especially getting those Big East reps. Getting the reps right now against a team like Indiana as the travel gets called on Genesis Parker. But these reps are just invaluable for the young talent that Butler has.
So another turnover for the Bulldogs. They averaged 17 a game a year ago. As Berger with it along the wing, defended by the freshman Trinity White. What an opportunity for her. As that's tossed inside, back to Berger. Again, 4 points away from 1,000. She'll float that one up. 997, 998.
Berger maintains so much composure anytime she has the ball, especially at end of shot clock situations. IU head coach said Terry Morin said Grace Berger's the one player they can always trust to get a shot off under pressure.
Couple minutes gone by. White fouled on her way in. White, the freshman out of McKinney, Texas. But I think one thing's for sure, Megan, is getting her first minutes of her career now is Sydney James, another freshman they're counting on. Richard takes a seat. But you talk about opportunity in a conference like the Big East, a lot of these young players on the Bulldogs are getting that. As James with the touch in the post. James will back down to Holmes. She goes up and it's swatted away. Mackenzie Holmes. And now Allie Patberg in her 7th year of collegiate eligibility. That's rolled in by Holmes on a nice pass through by Patberg.
And that's what Patberg does so well, pick and roll situation. She knows exactly the angle at which to get her teammates the ball, leading them to the basket.
Genesis Parker defended by Cardano-Hillary. James gets another touch. Here is senior versus freshman. James was an all-Indiana player at Trinity Lutheran a year ago. White off the glass and in.
White doing a nice job taking it to the basket. She was a little off balance going out too, but finished with her shoulders facing the cup.
Grace Berger off the screen sent by Goulbay. Patberg takes it now. Former Fighting Irish player Patberg launches one up, and that will bounce off the top of the glass.
That's like the 3rd shot from IU that has bounced off the back of the rim. We got some bouncy rims in Hinkle tonight.
It's part of what creates Hinkle magic sometimes.
Yeah, I guess.
One possession game with 6.5 to play in the first quarter. Amelia Sexton, big 3-point threat for the Bulldogs. And now it's Tenley Dowell. Parker came off the screen set by James, and that'll roll the other way. Offensive foul on the Bulldogs.
One of the biggest lessons that freshmen have to learn at the college level is how to set legal screens, because you have to keep the real estate. In high school, as a tall player, you're used to being able to set screens, maybe move a little bit, but in college, that is a point of emphasis. They want to make sure you are setting legal screens.
Well, that's the thing about playing this game to start the season on either side, Megan, as this is Pat Bird floating one in for Holmes. She was about to be triple teamed, and Butler takes it away. It's Genesis Parker, who now will look for help. And Sexton likes to launch it. Dowell 3. And Fawn on the rebound. It was Goulbe going down. And that will go Indiana away. But one thing about this being the first game of the season either side, you usually think for freshmen, all right, you can make those mistakes in game 1 or game 2. Not so much the case here.
Well, and you see here off the missed shot, Indiana doesn't even box out. Cardonia Hillary has to put a body there on White. But it's a good hustle by the freshman trying to make a second chance opportunity happen. You got to learn fast though when you're playing against a team like IU on the fly, to your point.
No doubt. Berger for 1,000. That's circled out. She'll have to wait. Still a 3-point game. Parker with some speed. With a little too much oomph. Grace Berger through the legs. In the corner. Cardonia Hillary, that's pure. They'll wave off the shot. 5:35 to play first quarter. And the first subs of the game for the Hoosiers. Deandra Brown, as well as Chloe Moore McNeil.
Indiana really only played 6 players a season ago. This year, Terry Morin says she likes that she's able to go to her bench a little more. Some sophomores have stepped up this offseason, really showed that they could potentially make an impact on the floor.
Quick shot, Goulbe, that missed everything. And it'll bounce at the baseline. Butler will take it back. So first 5 minutes or so, Megan, your assessment.
Well, Butler is doing a really nice job defensively, packing the paint and not letting Holmes have any sort of room to move or pass the ball. But the Bulldogs have to take advantage of any type of open shot they get, have to start just simply knocking him down.
3 turnovers each side to start. Into the game for the first time, Kendall Wingler. She tried to float one out to the corner. And it's going to be Dowell stepping out. Kendall Wingler, transfer in, redshirt freshman out of Eastern Kentucky. Butler did play an exhibition game back last Thursday against Trine. And Wingler, known for her scoring, she missed everything, 0 for 10 in the game.
What Coach Gudlewski likes about Wingler, though, is how competitive she is. He says she hates to lose more than she loves to win.
Moore McNeil misses. It's fought for on the rebound. Wingler caught a piece, and Richard vacuumed it up. Here's another freshman into the game for the first time. Zoe Jackson, 13 in white. Richards back in. She spins around and lays it in over Brown.
That was a great move by Richard, having a bit of a size advantage at 6'1", strong finish at the basket.
Berger, baseline, waiting for some help. Nifty move by Moore McNeil.
I like the nifty move reference you're making there. Berger with the tight handles, able to draw 3 Butler defenders down, and IU just crashes to the basket.
Indiana aggressive on the ball. It's going to be a double dribble on Genesis Parker. Kirk Gilevsky doesn't like the call. Maintains a 1-possession game as we head to our first media timeout. Good start from Hinkle. It's the Hoosiers and the Bulldogs on the Big East Digital Network from Flow Sports.
Don't. Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
and you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here we do.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
A 9-6 game as the number 8 Indiana Hoosiers lead the Butler Bulldogs from Hinkle Fieldhouse on the Big East Digital Network. From Flow Sports, Brendan King, Megan McEwen. Megan, one possession game after the first media timeout. 8 combined turnovers, 5 belonging to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and you know, this is the type of pace that Indiana wants to play out, and Butler's just made a couple of careless errors that come from inexperience playing together because there are so many young people out there. I've been really impressed with the way this Butler team has played defense in the first half of this first quarter. Again, really shutting down Mackenzie Holmes, crowding the paint. You can see the double coming over and then the help sides rotating over to make it a really hard look for Holmes to get the ball out.
That's the thing. It's going to take that type of effort for 40 minutes if you want to be the team that went to the Elite 8 last year. And Indiana, a challenging schedule. It's not like it gets any easier after this. We'll get to that in a bit. Grace Berger from the free throw line. There are points number 999 and 1,000 for the senior.
It's impressive to be a 1,000-point scorer, obviously, but Grace Berger led the nation in triple-doubles last year in women's basketball with 3, so she just does absolutely everything, and you see the and one, count the bucket for Zoe Jackson, the freshman, getting into the paint.
How's that for your first collegiate points? So you follow up a 1,000-point scorer in Berger with Jackson getting to the line, and there is not a typo on the Butler roster. Zoe Jackson and Trinity White, both out of McKinney, Texas. As we were talking to Kurt Godlewski earlier this morning, 2 freshmen, 2 very good friends from the same AAU team, but different high schools in that town of McKinney, Texas.
When he said it was helpful to recruit when one committed, the other one wanted to come too. So might as well bring your best friend to college, right?
That honestly sounds great. 11-9 Hoosiers lead it as Butler off the big and one opportunity. Berger top of the key, grabbing a screen, scoots past Jackson. Goulbe for 3. And couldn't get the roll. It was Wingler and Richard both trying for the rebound. They finally realized that. Dowell from deep, that missed everything. Can Sexton save it? She does. And Wingler needs help. Here's Jackson. Wingler trying to drive on Goulbe, one of the better defenders in the Big Ten. And Richard, baseline, 3 to shoot, spinning. And a shot clock violation. Good defensive possession by the Hoosiers.
Good defensive possession by the Hoosiers, but not a great offensive possession by Butler. None of the Bulldogs really moving that well. It didn't seem like there was any sort of offensive flow or intention by any of the players out there.
Mackenzie Holmes checks back in for Indiana. You know, one thing Godlewski also said today was you can't let the Hoosiers get those consistent paint touches. And you mentioned at the top, it's hard to do against Holmes, but Godlewski and the Bulldogs would gladly take outside shots. As here's a baseline 2 from Brown. She was not covered at all. It's Jackson up the floor. More McNeil on her. Taking a screen from Ellen Ross, former Fort Wayne Dwenger basketball player up in the 2-6-0 here in the state of Indiana. Jackson to the paint. Jackson, another awkward put up, but it rolls.
And that was a great move by Jackson because Butler's not cutting super hard on offense, so Jackson just took the ball and made something happen.
2 and change to go first quarter. 2-point game, Butler keeping it close early. and the Hoosiers number 8 in the AP preseason poll. Holmes, long shot, they'll take that. The rebound though to Brown. She shoulders in and able to convert the layup.
Brown, a player that Indiana's really liked the way she's come along in this offseason, getting in the gym.
Jackson running the point. Genesis Parker set the check back in, as is Sydney Janes for the Bulldogs. The kick out to Ross, that's a 2. Ellen Ross, her first points of the season. Here's the Georgia transfer in for the first time. That's Caitlin Hose from the state of Georgia, committed to her hometown Bulldogs. Now playing for the Hoosiers, 5 in red. Berger left open for 3. The rebound tracked down by Holmes. A touchdown pass winds it back up with Berger. That's off glass, it rolls out. Holmes another rebound, and finally Butler takes it back.
Once again, Butler forcing IU to take the shots that the Bulldogs want them to take, threes.
55 seconds on the clock. It's Ross again, blowing past Brown. Makeable layup was missed. And that will stick with the Bulldogs, but a full line change on the way, each side.
Well, Brown went out to contest with her body completely straight up and down, and Ross made the right decision to drive by. The moment as an offensive player, you see a defender coming out straight up and down, blow by him to the basket.
You know, this is something that Butler was not used to last year, Megan. The ability to put 3 different players in at any time. Again, they were wrecked by COVID cases last season, at times playing with 6 or 7 players.
It's nice when you can go to the bench.
Yeah.
And you have enough players that can suit up. You don't have to suit up any managers or anything. Numbers are good in basketball.
35 left in the first quarter. This is Pat Byrne. A historic career in Bloomington for her, defended by Parker. Now Moore McNeil getting a good run in this first quarter. Goulbay drives, 3 on the shot clock, left hand and the finish. That leaves Butler with 16. Genesis Parker, shot clock off. Parker looking up, grabs a screen from Ross. And the reach in by Moore McNeil.
Coming off a screen as a defender, it's so tempting to try to put your hand in the cookie jar and tap it out, but you have to be really careful to make sure your feet are in position if you're going to reach in.
Just in front of the Indiana bench, Ross to Parker. Parker 7 to shoot. Parker moves in, pulls. That miss, caught glass, on the ground now, 1 second on the clock, and that's 10 minutes. 17-13, IU will lead after a quarter of play. We're just getting going though from Hinkle Fieldhouse.
3-point shooting team only shot 28% from beyond the arc. That was second to last in the Big Ten a season ago. So if Butler wants to continue keeping the score low, continue making Indiana shoot threes.
10 fresh minutes on the clock. Dogs and the Hoosiers. Genesis Parker took that final shot of the first quarter with about 5 seconds left. Way long, caught the top of the glass as Trinity White drives her way in, and Trinity White scores. 1 possession game again. Nicole Cardano-Hillary, 4 in Crimson. She's got an interesting story. Transfer into this program from George Mason. As here's Berger, who was able to accomplish the 1,000-point feat for her career in that first quarter. And Genesis Parker the other way. Parker baseline. Now Parker takes a full trip around the sun, leaving a 3 for Sexton, and that's good.
And that was a quick release from Sexton. I thought Parker should have gotten her that ball a lot earlier, but Sexton's still able to get it off.
Cardano-Hillary for Goulbay, and now Berger. Herkulevsky barking orders from the Butler sideline. Terry Morin crouched on the other side. Cardano-Hillary hit run from there earlier, ended up not counting because of a foul, and now she makes up for that by converting.
Cardano-Hillary does a nice job scoring when IU needs a bucket, but her biggest value for this Hoosier team's on the defensive end. She is just a pest up at the top of the key.
Again, a transfer into this program, but maybe one of the better transfers available on the market a couple years ago. She was the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year in 2018-19, averaged 20 points a game for George Mason, and also is their all-time leading scorer. And Terry Morin able to get her off the waiver wire. And now she swats away a rebound. The other side, Sexton is able to tip it away from Holmes. Cardano Hillary, Pat Berg, layup attempt, and she was fouled on her way in.
That football pass, like a quarterback to a receiver. Mackenzie Holmes was like, where is it, where is it, as if she had a helmet on. Couldn't see anything, but that was a nice job by Indiana to resurrect a play that almost resulted in a turnover. Allie Patberg constantly moving, really good spacing, sees that she has an open lane and just takes it in strong.
7th year in college for Allie Patberg. She's 25 years old. How about that? Started at Notre Dame. She's about to turn 25, that is.
Next September, yeah.
Started at Notre Dame, tore her ACL her freshman year. Played at Notre Dame under Muffet McGraw, then made the decision to transfer. Now 3 years with the IU program, and she was granted the COVID year.
My favorite fact about Allie Patberg is that she's played under not one and not two, but 3 United States presidents.
That is pretty interesting. Sexton along the wing. Sydney Janes gets a touch. Holmes blocked away a Janes shot earlier. Now they match up again. Freshman versus senior. That gets the roll.
And a lot of confidence Janes is playing with right now, going against Holmes. You could not tell she's a freshman going against a junior who's an all Big Ten pick.
An all-Indiana All-Star a year ago for Janes at a Trinity Lutheran High School. Goulbay weaving in. Goulbay traveled. Butler gets the ball back down 2.
Initially, to me, that didn't look like a travel. I need to see a replay to see if that actually had some footwork, but it looks like she split the defense pretty well to get to the basket.
And Cardano Hillary picks up the foul on Parker. Ellen Ross looking to inbound. Zoe Jackson will get the ball. Now Butler has 2 players on the floor that can control the ball. That's Parker and Jackson. We've seen them split those duties early. Cardano Hillary like a pass right on Parker as she drives left side. Jackson will pull from 3, and Jackson, it caught glass and took a trip around. Cardano Hillary, another launch pass. Patberg able for the easy lay-in.
Talk about threading the needle. Hillary putting that only where Allie Patberg could catch it. Good patience by Patberg to gather before she went up.
Under 7 left in the second quarter. Parker with some contact, missed everything.
Look at this pass right here. Cardano Hillary getting the ball up to where only Patberg could get it. Catching it with that outside hand, finishing strong in the lane.
I mean, the bucket game is coming up.
It is in fact coming up. You're exactly right. Let's just add in as many football references into this basketball game as we can.
Wingler back in for Butler. Wingler and Dowell are the guards in front. As Cardano Hillary takes it up for the Hoosiers. Berger looking Patberg. Patberg looked like she might have jumped into a 3. Instead, chose to go to Cardano Hillary. Ends up being a pretty good decision.
Well, that open driving lane happened because IU got a ball reversal. Butler's defense had to shift, and they were late on the help. Cardano Hillary had a lane to the basket.
6-point game as the Hoosiers lead it. Wingler inside. Richards back in, the Avon product, as she tries to back down Brown. Off glass and good.
How good has Alex Richard been playing with her back to the basket, feeling where the defense is, but making a quick move with deliberate. And that pass over court was deliberate as well. Not a good turnover for the Hoosiers. Ross getting the ball, not necessarily in great position, but stays patient, back to the basket, feeling that she's got somebody on that left shoulder and able to come back onto that right side.
Well, again, Richard, the former Avon Oriole, she played in one of the bigger conferences in all of Indiana in terms of basketball. And she has it again. And Richard with that footwork. Richard again.
Richard doing a really nice job. I mean, she's undersized for a post player at 6'1", but she's doing such a good job with her moves in the post right now.
Again, what did Kirk Gilevsky say earlier? They're going to have a shot tonight. They need the freshmen to step up. So far, they've gotten that in the first half. Berger drives against Dowell. Caught a screen. Berger got it.
That's where she's so good. Berger able to operate in tight spaces. Look at how low that crossover was, below her knees where no one can get it, and she's able to explode and make space.
4-point game as Jackson, offensive foul on Dowell. And that'll take us to immediate timeout. As Jackson got the screen from Dowell.
She can't move like that. That's totally a moving screen. Good call by the official.
4-point game from Hinkle. 28-24, the Hoosiers lead it. Back in a jiff, Big East Digital Network on Flow Sports.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
Four-point game from Hinkle Fieldhouse. Under 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Brendan King, Megan McEwen on the Big East Digital Network from Flow Sports. I think a player emerging early for Butler. The former Avon Oriole, that's Alex Richard.
Alex Richard is not playing like a freshman tonight, and she's going against one of the most talented post players in the country with Mackenzie Holmes and a couple more of these big on Indiana. She's got 8 points so far. What impresses me most is how much confidence she's playing with. But Butler has 14 points in the paint right now against a very tall, very big Indiana team.
8 points for Richard. She had 19 double-doubles in college, also part of the 500-point club in high school. Big recruit for Kurt Godlewski as we pick things back up from Hinkle. Grace Berger, long two, no problem.
Well, that's Grace Berger's bread and butter. She loves to take a little one step, get into the mid-range level. You have to have a hand up in her face if you're Butler.
Back to a 6-point Hoosier lead. Last time we saw this, Butler was able to go on a mini run, got themselves back within one possession. Sydney Janes back in. We've seen Janes and Holmes battle. They go at it again. Janes missed it. The rebound ripped down by Golbeck. See a lot of these long touchdown passes from the Hoosiers. That time Berger went down.
Looks like she landed a little funny on that right foot, left foot.
Bright pink shoes. I think they said earlier, Damian Lillard shoes, right?
I saw her in the hallway in the game, and I said, I like your shoes. And she said, I don't know how they look with the red, but whatever.
I mean,
it's Valentine's Day every day of the year, she said.
I think you can make most things work with crimson.
Hey, I like the pink shoes.
Yeah,
I'm all about the different color shoes. Yeah.
I dig them. Big defensive possession for the Bulldogs. Holmes double team. It was swatted away. That double team has worked in Butler's favor to start. Sexton thought about a long one. James tried to maneuver inside to Dowell, and the Hoosiers take it back. Pat Berg, bounce pass, Goulbe left hand.
Patberg just makes the game of basketball fun to watch because of the way she plays. There's a swagger to her game. She's able to have those no-look passes, and it benefits her teammates.
That's 8 Butler turnovers in the first half. Butler will make another change at the next available slot. Janice Parker looking for her first points. That grazed the rim and winds up back with Holmes. They push it again. This time it's Cardano Hillary with the lay-in.
And that whole entire sequence is because of Cardano Hillary. It started on the defensive end. She's been getting into Genesis Parker all night, really frustrating the guard and forcing her to take bad shots. And as a result, IU able to get a rebound off of that shot and a breakaway layup.
That brings along a Kurt Gillespie timeout, 10-point game.
Watch here, Cardano Hillary getting in, trying to swipe, being a complete pest on defense and forces a bad shot out of rhythm from Parker. And then as a result, IU's able to run out and get a bucket to go.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, 8 newcomers on this Butler roster. And one of the things that remain the same, at least consistency-wise, is Genesis Parker, who averaged over 12 a game a year ago. But so far, the Hoosiers have done a good job on containing her, especially, as you mentioned, with Cardano Hillary.
Anytime you go into a game where there's a player like Parker who is so dominant as a scorer, you have to cut off the head of the snake, and Indiana's done a nice job making her pretty ineffective so far in this game.
So Butler will try and rally back down 10. Indiana looking like the number 8 team in the country. As James threw the body, it was Cardano Hillary going down matrix style.
She spends a lot of time on the floor during a basketball game. You just got the camera on her. I'd like to see how much time she spends on the ground. She's a hard, tough-nosed player, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And last season, that's really where she started to show her worth, was on the defensive side, playing so hard for Indiana. And a big reason why they were able to make that deep run in the NCAA tournament.
They lost to Arizona in the Elite Eight. Arizona eventually lost to Stanford in the national championship game. Berger defended by the freshman Trinity White. Off the roll, it's Goulbe. Defensive foul, that'll go against White.
Butler's still doing a nice job defensively and switched that, but Goulbe was able to have a little bit of an extra step to the basket. And then White just was not there on time.
Brown back in for Indiana, Sexton for Butler. Yeah, it doesn't get any easier for Indiana. They get Kentucky 4 days from now. That game will be nationally televised. And then guess who on November 25th as part of the Pink Flamingo Classic? Stanford and then Miami.
Oh, are they good? You mean the reigning national champions?
Yeah, just those guys.
Yeah.
Just the trees.
Yeah, I've heard of them a time or two.
Goulbe, a successful trip to the line. Largest lead for Indiana. Zoe Jackson on her way in, and Zoe Jackson has found space down low, Megan, all night.
And Zoe Jackson's doing a nice job using her quickness to get past Indiana's defenders.
Patberg misses. Richard has it. Butler with 2.5 left in the second quarter. Ross with the screen. It's Wingler taking it. The Eastern Kentucky transfer with the pivot. Richard now. And that finds itself in.
How about a little bit of a step back from Richard? She was getting it done with her back to the basket down low, then pulling it out to 15 feet.
Collegiate debut for Alex Richard as another 2 for Indiana. How about your collegiate debut? First half you ever play, you're 5 for 5 from the field with 10 points.
Now, I'm not great at math, Brendan, but you can't do much better than 5 for 5, so it's a pretty good debut.
Zoe Jackson drives again. Zoe Jackson converts again. It's the freshman stepping up for the Bulldogs.
And something good about freshmen is they have no fear sometimes, and they don't know if they have anything to lose, so therefore they make plays like that, coming in fearless to this Indiana defense.
Patberg behind the back. Cardano Hillary's been hot. She loves that left corner.
And doesn't need a ton of time to get her shot off. She's hit twice from that area, able to just benefit from driving kicks.
She has hit every 3 she has attempted, including one that didn't count. Wingler ran out of space, needs help. Ellen Ross pulls from 3. We're down to the last 60 of the first half. Berger. Berger's got 12. Wingler in the corner. 15 to shoot. Richard spinning. Richard maneuvering. She's got another pair.
IU forgot to guard Richard for a hot second there. Berger got switched onto her late. Richard made them pay.
And that's one thing. Butler played the one exhibition game against Trine. Not a whole lot out there to scout.
And Butler playing zone for this last 7 seconds.
It's Berger creeping in. Berger now kicking. Pat Berg 3 at the buzzer, no good. And it will sit at an 11-point Indiana halftime lead by Hoosiers. 4 out of 4, and then 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. She's got 10 points. 12 points off turnovers, though, for the Hoosiers. That's big in that first half.
That's been massive in the first half, but what's also been big is the unselfish play of Indiana. 13 assists off of 18 made buckets, rather. Indiana only averaged 14 assists a year ago. They have 13 already in that first half.
Here we go, quarter number 3, and Butler with an immediate stop to get things started. Genesis Parker will try and get herself on the board. Left-hand dribble. Trinity White, the freshman out of McKinney, Texas. Matches up against Grace Berger. White needs some help, finds Richard. And that's what she's done all day, just missed that floater.
And Golbe did a nice job pushing her off at a position.
Now Mackenzie Holmes down low, and that's what they've been trying to do all night on the other side.
Well, and credit Butler because they held Mackenzie Holmes to 5 points in the first half. She averages 18, but you cannot let a player like Holmes get going because once she gets hot, she gets really confident.
As Kirk Godleski said earlier this morning at shoot-around, they want to limit those paint touches as much as possible. Obviously limit the buckets, but they want more 16, 18-footer attempts. She got quite a few of those from the Hoosiers in half number 1. Parker was fouled on her way in by Goulbe, and Parker grabbing her left knee. And Parker in some pain.
Initially on that call going up, I thought Goulbe was in position and got a clean block. We can't see the bottom of her, but she's gripping onto that left knee, and she's still down.
And here's Kirk Godlewski on the court checking with his graduate student leader. 45-32, the score from Hinkle Fieldhouse. About a minute gone by, quarter number 3, and to say the least, Genesis Parker, not only if she has to leave the game, but we don't know what her condition would be. That's a big part of this Butler team. Again, one of the only parts, Megan, coming back from this year that was consistent in what the Bulldogs did last season.
And one of the senior leaders on this team that understands Godlewski's system, understands what he wants to do offensively, defensively, really sets the tone. She's still down there on the floor, too, in a lot of pain, it looks like.
Yeah, Genesis Parker is going to need some further attention here. So let's take a break. 45-32. Number 8, Indiana leads Butler. Concern on the court for Genesis Parker, the graduate student leader for the Bulldogs. We're back to Hinkle Fieldhouse in a moment. The Big East Digital Network from Flow Sports.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't. Driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work.
Well, happy to say Genesis Parker is leaving the floor, but obviously with some help, and her left knee is going to be looked at immediately here, Megan, as we didn't catch the full glimpse at just how hard she came down on that knee, but clearly something was wrong.
Yeah, going up for a layup just looked like maybe a weird takeoff or landing. We didn't get a good look at it. But you see Zoe Jackson's going to come in and shoot the free throws that Genesis Parker was fouled for.
And Jackson has played a nice role for the Bulldogs to start today. She misses her first collegiate free throw. Again, Jackson and White, the two freshmen on the floor together, 13 and 10 from the same hometown, McKinney, Texas. Kurt Kalewski went first to recruit Trinity White. Then he found Zoe Jackson, realized, hey, this girl can play. And they signed together in this Bulldog program. Now the Hoosiers, without Genesis Parker on the floor, potentially can try and put in the final nails if they can keep up with what they've done to end that first half, as Patberg misses the three. It's going to take an all-out effort from Butler if they want to get back within this. Jackson with that left hand. Jackson missed the layup. Grabbing the rebound was Dowell. And she was attacked, and the foul. She'll go to the line.
Because Jackson drove to the basket so hard, 3 IU jerseys came flying at her, and that allowed the open opposite side of the basket for the rebound to come in for Tenley Dowell. Look how hard she drives. 3 red jerseys coming in, and Dowell's right there. No one boxing her out. Berger puts her hand in the cookie jar.
3 freshmen on the floor for the Bulldogs as Dowell hits her first free throw. She was 12 out of 13 from the strike last year. The senior and Sexton, and then Dowell, redshirt sophomore. And Megan, you look at the lineup for the Hoosiers. Up and down the floor, it is the same lineup, of course, as the Elite 8 run last year.
These 5 have played a lot of minutes together, understand each other's tendencies, and it's why IU is so highly touted this season, because of that experience they bring back to the floor.
Patberg was only 1 out of 4 in that first half, but she had 7 assists. I think that's the beauty of this lineup. They're so used to playing with each other. Cardano Hillary's already 2 for 2, make it 3 for 3 from deep. She has not missed today.
What makes IU so good is every single player understands their role, and they are so good at performing at that role. Cardano Hillary has to be a pest on defense and knock down threes, and she's done just that.
13-point game. Butler's going to need somebody to step up, as it's Tenley Dowell now. Richard and Trinity White drives in. She was fouled on her way there. But again, I think you said it best there, that everybody knows their roles, but even Patberg, a player that's been around the collegiate game and has done the things that she has done for so long, if she's having an off night shooting the ball, again, she's 1 out of 4, she'll just pick it up in the assist category.
She has 8 assists tonight, and that's exactly right. She's a player that they don't need her to go out and get 20 every single night. Patberg's a player who has so much experience and so much confidence. The way she plays the game really calms everybody on Indiana down. She's a great leader for this Hoosier team.
Trinity White to the line for the first time in her collegiate career. Senior season at McKinney High School. Averaged nearly 11 a game, 6 rebounds. Now I did look it up again. Zoe Jackson is on the floor with her. They played on the same AAU team, but different high schools. Trinity White, McKinney High School. Zoe Jackson, Allen High School. Last year, Allen swept McKinney in 2 games. So she does have that bragging right.
Do you think that's a point of contention between the two of them?
It could be. It might be the only thing they have, quite frankly. And Cardano Hillary's been hot. Orange Crimson directing traffic. She'll kick out Patberg from the wing. And Patberg missed. Winkler swipes in the board. Butler's down 11 with time. Again, 7 minutes to go, quarter number 3, and make it single-digit lead again for the Hoosiers.
Zoe Jackson goes left to the basket every single time. Indiana has to cut her off, force her to go right.
Patberg, though, wide open from the corner. Thankfully for Butler, she has struggled shooting the ball. Gulbe, though, to pick up a foul.
Ali Patberg is not known as a three-point shooter. She only shot 30% from beyond the arc a season ago. But right now, Butler doing a nice job forcing those shots from Indiana, and that's the reason why they have made this a single-digit deficit, because they're forcing Indiana to take shots that they wouldn't normally want to take.
Keandra Brown back in for the Hoosiers. Mackenzie Holmes checks out. as Goulbe at the line. Got 78% last year.
And Goulbe is the type of player that just does things like this, comes in flying and out of nowhere, has really good size, so she's able to scrap for the ball at 6'3" and get those types of second chance opportunities.
Back to an 11-point Hoosier lead. At some point, Butler's going to need a run. 6.5 to play third quarter. Now took that one dribble, left it for Wingler. There was a foul somewhere in that mess.
They're going to call Keandra Brown with the foul.
It's her first, team's fourth. Again, Genesis Parker out of the game with an apparent knee injury for Butler. Sydney James drew a foul, and she'll head to the line. And Holmes back in for Indiana. We talked about in the first quarter, Megan, this was already a heck of an opportunity for the Butler freshmen. Look at it now.
And they're getting a lot of experience in this game, going against one of the premier teams in all of college basketball. And they're playing absolutely fearlessly. I've been really impressed with the lack of timid play from these freshmen for Butler.
That would have gotten them back into single digits. And the Hoosiers again, offensively, they've just been so crisp. More McNeil drives, and more McNeil got swatted by Sydney James. And they feed James. This is a matchup we've been watching for a good majority of the night. Freshman versus senior. James draws. Actually, no, she traveled.
Well, and Holmes did a nice job defensively there, not letting James have the position she wanted, really forcing her up, bodying her out of the paint. Mackenzie Holmes has had an incredible transformation from her freshman year to now when it comes to her body. Lost about 30 pounds from freshman to sophomore year, and then over the summer has gained about 8 pounds of muscle back to get her body really strong. In the Big Ten, it's a strong league. Bodies are banging down low in the post. Mackenzie Holmes is one of the best in the league because she's so strong and has excellent footwork.
Under 6 to play, third quarter. And Holmes is on the preseason watch list for the Lisa Leslie Award for the nation's best center. I'll tell you what, on the award watch should be Cardano Hillary. She has hit everything she has put up today, Megan.
Well, she's been wide open. Butler hasn't guarded her out of the three-point line. I don't know at what point they're going to figure out to get a body on her. She's hit 4.
Richard travel. Back-to-back travels for Butler, back-to-back turnovers. That's their 11th. It's not like Cardano Hillary came into this program as just an ordinary transfer. The all-time leading scorer, George Mason, played 3 years there, then came to Bloomington. Patberg transferred in from Notre Dame. Corner now, Goulbe. She missed it. That was tipped, though, back into the hands of Cardano Hillary. Attack after attack, they just keep on rolling.
When Indiana's so disciplined, they're going to wait deep into the shot clock to get the shot they want to take.
5 to shoot. More McNeil beats the shot clock. That stayed out somehow. White grabs the board, and Zoe Jackson takes it up. Jackson pivots. The redshirt freshman in Wingler. Averaged 10 a game last year at Eastern Kentucky, and she lost the ball at the baseline. More McNeil, drop pass, Patberg, and open Holmes. But Goulbe doing some work on the glass. Butler takes a loose ball away. White or Richard. Richard banging the body and just missed. Again, she started 6 out of 6 tonight. Four to play, third quarter. Patberg from the free throw line. And you talked about it earlier, Megan. In terms of Patberg and Berger, they are not missing that free throw line look. often.
Well, no, and they're so good at getting squared up to the basket. Patwork came off the dribble and at the last second was able to get up in the air and square her shoulder to the basket. That comes with experience and repetitions. They're so good at finishing midair when they go off on balance.
Hoosiers feeling good in their season debut, up 15 from Hinkle on the Big East Digital Network from Flow Sports.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever. As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
Hoosiers resting comfortably in Hinkle. 15-point lead for Indiana over Butler as the number 8 team in the land looks just that. Brendan King, Megan McEwen. Indiana in the third quarter is really starting to pull away.
Well, and they're doing it because they're staying really disciplined. Indiana is one of the most disciplined teams in the Big Ten, maybe even in the country, because they run their offense deep into the shot clock and work on getting the shot they want. In the first half, Butler did a great job of forcing Indiana to speed up, to shoot threes, to take shots they don't necessarily want to take. But this second half, they made adjustments, and now Indiana is completely controlling the pace and the momentum of this game.
12 Butler turnovers. Indiana has scored 15 points off those turnovers, and just before we hit the break, Butler had back-to-back traveling calls. And again, if you're just joining us, Genesis Parker, the senior grad student leader of the Bulldogs, injured under the basket with an apparent left knee problem and needed help getting off the floor. So Butler, who was not an old team to begin with, gets even younger. And here's the freshman Zoe Jackson, who has been sharp. A lot of these layup looks, and she drew a foul there, maybe on Brown. And it will be the third foul on Keandra Brown.
Once again, Jackson's driving with the left.
She looks confident.
Yeah, she keeps doing it every time, and IU's letting her. They got to come over, and that help side defense has to be there.
And she will have free throws after the break. That leads us to another media timeout. Indiana still up 15 with 3.5 to play from Hinkle. It's the Big East Digital Network from Flow Sports.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
There are many banners hung up inside Hinkle Fieldhouse, including back-to-back national finalists on the left hand of the court. But over the Indiana bench, the Butler women's basketball team has been to the NCAA tournament once. It was in 1996 as the Bulldogs were led by June Okauskis, the only Butler coach to never record a losing season, but an assistant coach on her staff. It was Terry Morin, who was an assistant at Butler, starting her career 1992 to 1998. How about that?
Now, Terry Morin has a vast history in the state of Indiana regarding her coaching stops that she's made. Played at Purdue University, has coached at Butler, coached at Indiana State, now coaching at Indiana. And she looked down, we were talking to her earlier today, and said, I think I'm a part of the banner up there. So she has a lot of great memories being in Hinkle Fieldhouse, running around the top of the arena, she said, getting some miles in. So overall, just she's made quite the impact on the state of Indiana when it comes to women's basketball.
3 and change to play in the third quarter. Zoe Jackson just hit both of her free throws. As it's Gouldbay down low, doubled immediately at the baseline, and she threw that out of play. I'm surprised she didn't mention she had 2 years at your alma mater as an assistant coach. She's been all over
the Big Ten.
Yeah, truly. But that's why I asked the question earlier. We were sitting right here at the table with Coach Morin. I asked, you know, when you think about this place, because she was here before the big renovation, all the pizzazz, you know, Hinkle truly is the basketball cathedral, but they've certainly spruced it up a bit as Janes tosses to the corner for Jackson, who drives baseline, leaves for Janes, who missed the layup. That's why I asked her just what has changed about this place. She brought the swimming pool, was taken out downstairs.
Not the pool.
Not the pool, but truly it was really remarkable. She spent 6 years here and has seen this place really transform.
And who can forget everyone's favorite movie, Hoosiers, and the impact of Hinkle Fieldhouse and that.
Patberg for 3, that was missed. It goes off of Brown, and she somersaults across a couple cameras.
I thought that was a human being that she somersaulted across, so I'm glad she's okay, and hopefully the cameras are too. And coming in, Jane's out of position, letting Brown try to come in for that offensive rebound. Both teams have to start boxing out better, getting a butt in a gut and pushing out.
13-point lead for Indiana. Grace Berger drives, picked up her 1,000th career point earlier, and I'll tell you what, Cardano Hillary does not miss, Megan.
She doesn't miss because she's so open. She's right there in the corner. Butler's just letting her shoot the ball and not even a hand up to contest.
She's got 19 points, 7 for 7 from the field, but 5 of 5 from 3. Richard spinning and left it short. Under 2 to go, third quarter. Brown sets the screen for Condarnio Hillary, and why wouldn't you? Whistle sounded along the baseline. Looks like it will go on Butler, and it's Tenley Dowell in the area. Third foul for her. Amelia Sexton takes a break. Wingler back in. Inside towards Holmes, that deflected. They're going to say off of Holmes. Now Richard was right there, but they're going to give the ball to Butler.
Yeah, I thought that went off of a white jersey.
Same. but the call was made by the referee just in front of us.
Sometimes when there's a 16-point gap, everyone's just going to say, we're not going to review it. Just let's move on.
It is under 2. 90 seconds in the quarter. The freshman Richard looking for help, backing down the French-Canadian in Brown, and another layup for Richard. She's got 14.
Richard's just doing a great job creating space, getting and backing down, using her body to get the position she wants, then creating that space to get the bucket.
Jackson and Richard, each with 14 in their collegiate debuts. Open three again, this time Brown. Doesn't take a lot of those. Only 1 3 attempt last season. Butler down 14. And with 15 to shoot, Richard again. They feed the freshman, and Richard goes off glass and in. She's been great.
She's showing off, finishing over left shoulder, right shoulder, both hands. What a day this has been for the freshman.
Now Butler's leading scorer with 16 on the board. About a 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Down low, Berger. White hands up. Pat Berg, extra pass, open again, and the first miss of the night for Nicole Cardano-Hillary. Had to happen at some point. They still get points out of the possession, though, Megan, with Holmes laying it in. 2 seconds on the clock. Jackson needs to put it up, and that caught the shot clock. 60-46. Boy, IU rolling. After 3, the Big East Digital Network from there's kids watching.
I hope I'm not ruining it for anybody.
There's kids watching.
Yeah.
Tough schedules on each side. I mean.
Yeah, no, totally. Both these teams, I think this has been a great experience for the freshmen on Butler tonight. I've been really impressed with the way they've taken it to these IU bigs.
Well, that's the thing about it, as Zoe Jackson has been quite impressive for the Dogs. 14 points in her collegiate debut. Trinity White picked up a foul on her way to the elbow, but this is not something facing Indiana, the type of play, it's not just going to dissipate of what you face. The Big East is a challenge every single night.
The Big East has the best team in college basketball in its conference in UConn.
Yeah.
DePaul hung 110 points on their non-conference opponent earlier this week, and the ball's going to get stuck and we're going to get a jump ball. But the Big East is a conference that can put up points and score, so Butler's going to have to, one, find a way to score, but also find a way to defend, slow down. Pace of play is so big in basketball, and anytime a team goes on the road, especially in a conference game, trying to dictate pace of play is such a huge component to coming out with a win.
And the Hoosiers get the defending champs, the Stanford Cardinal, on November 25th, then Miami the next day. Cardano-Hillary has missed one shot all night, and that continues.
Cardano-Hillary is playing so relaxed right now. She doesn't look flustered whatsoever. She is literally letting the game come to her, and it is paying off big time for the senior.
Sydney Janes has gotten a look in the post for a good majority of the night. Challenge, though, against Holmes. Wingler defended by Berger. That's a free ball, and Holmes will go to the other way with it. Indiana ball. I have to imagine, too, January 2nd and February 25th are circled on the schedule for Coach Morin. Maryland, one of the only Big Ten teams she has never beaten, 0-11 all time.
Maryland led the nation in scoring a year ago with 92 points per game. Number 2 was Iowa, also in the Big Ten, with 87 points per game.
Boy.
So these are teams that can score similar, as you see Grace Berger get the bucket to go, score at a high level. But Indiana's a team that likes to slow teams down and make you grind it out in the half court. And so if they can get those types of high-scoring teams to stay in the 60, 70-point range, they have a chance to come out with some wins.
Zoe Jackson continues to lead the way for the Bulldogs. Her and Richard tied for the team lead in points with 16 each. Holmes able to scoot one through.
Holmes had such a deep positioning that time, there was no way that you could stop her. With a player like Holmes, Butler's freshmen have to make sure they're getting her out of position early. You can't let her catch it that deep in the paint.
Indiana's size and just determination has caught up with Butler. This was a 4-point game after the first quarter. Trinity White tried to save it. Kurt Gavleski held her back. And Indiana ball again. Again, Berger picked up her 1,000th career point very early in this one. She's got 14 on the night. Now 1,010 points in her career. Averaged 15 a game last year, and she is above that marker now with 16.
Berger doing the fundamental thing you're taught as a scorer. Keep going to the basket off of a screen if your defender's on your hip. Berger coming off what looked like an Iverson screen initially, just keeps on rounding the corner because you have that defender on your hip and go and score. And just like that, the Hoosiers with a 20-point lead over Butler here in the fourth quarter.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
Here, we do what others don't.
Dream what others won't, driven to leap forward, determined to always give back.
Here, we work where giants have played, where the connection of work and ethic is made.
A diverse community possessed with a passion
To know and grow and go and show the world we are prepared to change it. Here, we ask what must be done, for in doing we learn and earn success.
and you can get there from here.
DePaul University. Here, we do.
As Bulldogs, we believe in the Butler way, in doing more than our best, in putting team above self, and unleashing our strengths for the greater good. We're selfless. We're united. We're unwavering. Now more than ever.
Started as a promising night for the Butler Bulldogs. They were within 4 points after a quarter of play. 7 and change to play, quarter number 4. Now a 20-point Indiana Hoosier lead. Brendan King, Megan McEwen. Megan, 14 Butler turnovers. 19 points for the Hoosiers off of those turnovers.
And that's been the name of the game in the second half especially. Indiana's done a good job of forcing Butler to turn the ball over. But it's not about just turning the ball over. You have to capitalize and take advantage of those turnovers. Indiana getting a lot of runouts, not to mention the offensive reboundings and second chance opportunities. The Hoosiers have been able to get 10 boards, resulting in 9 second chance points. It's been a big night on the glass for Indiana.
Wingler maneuvered herself into the paint, now left it for Dowell for 3, and she hits. That's Dowell's game. Starter still in for IU. It's only the second made 3 for Butler tonight too, as Holmes walks. Butler's taken 8 3-pointers. They've hit their free throws 81% from the strike. Richards been sharp. 16 in her collegiate debut. That was let loose. White looking for it. Somehow she got it under the basket. Kicked out to Wingler, and that's pure.
That's why Wingler is at Butler, because she can knock down threes like that. It's going to be massive throughout this season. Butler has to continue getting paint touches because it opens up the three-point line.
32% from three-point land at Eastern Kentucky last year for the redshirt freshman transfer. Again.
I mean, she's wide open. I don't know what else to tell you other than Butler's packing the paint so much, but now Cardonia Hillary has hit 5 threes. You have to get out to her. You cannot just pack the paint and let Cardonia Hillary do her thing on there.
You know, it's interesting. I was watching her shoot from the corner in pregame. She missed a good 6-7 in a row. That is not the case in game.
I misspoke. She has hit 6 threes.
Don't
want to jip her on one.
Her.
Don't want to jip her on one.
Well, I think she would take 5 or 6.
I think anyone would.
Yeah. 71-54 Hoosiers. 9 of 10 from the field. To go along with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Again, this isn't just a random performance from her. Again, the all-time leading scorer still today at George Mason. White missed. And offensive.
Golbe is a problem underneath the basket for teams because she's so physical and she's big. She's 6'3", she's strong, and she's not afraid to battle and she's not afraid of contact.
Did you ever play on a team as young as what Butler is coming out this season?
No, I have not, and that's, you know, something that this Butler team is going to have to learn quickly. They're going to have to learn on the fly, and tonight's a perfect example. Their star player, senior leader, Genesis Parker, goes out with an injury in the third quarter. A lot of underclassmen on the floor right now. Butler's going to have to learn quickly how to adjust to some adversity.
I mean, nightmare scenario, and we don't know if Genesis Parker is going to have to miss time or not. But it did not look good on the floor is what we're saying. But, you know, Kirk Godlewski having to go through what this team went through last season was at times playing 6 or 7 players, and that's a healthy team, or considered healthy at the time. That's a charge as Cardonia Hillary takes it. But just when you hope that you got something brewing in terms of having a full squad, your senior leader goes down.
And it's really frustrating as a coach, you know, trying to plan for things and everything. On this replay, Cardonia Hillary has to be one of the most annoying players on the floor if you're an opponent because she's all over the place. She's a pest.
Yeah.
And that's what makes her so good for Indiana is because she's so frustrating for other teams to play against.
I mean, that's what makes the biggest difference in March sometimes, right?
Oh,
I feel
man.
like any team that succeeds in March, they have that one player that's just going to be in your face all night.
If we're picking teams right now, I want Cardonia Hillary on my team just for the defensive purposes alone.
Yeah. It was a deep run in the NCAA tournament last year for Indiana. Pat Berg has been cold from 3. Indiana as a team has not, though, as Brown there to clean up the change.
Indiana, again, a team that does not like to shoot a ton of threes. Terry Morin told us she likes to keep it to no more than 15 threes a game because they don't need that outside shooting. They have so many players that can play in the mid-range game. They have bigs that can play. As you see the roll go there for Richard. Indiana tonight has taken 21 threes, and that's because Butler's packed the paint so much that the three-point line's been open, and they've said if you're going to beat us at 3. The Hoosiers have answered the call, knocking down 7.
It's a double-edged sword where you mentioned the Hoosiers shooting numbers from last year earlier. Okay, sure, you take that into account.
Woo!
Beautiful pass. And the finish for Brown. But you said it, Kirk Godlewski, if they're going to beat you, you want them to beat you from 3. But they've hit their shots.
And at the end of the day, there's a reason why this team is ranked 8th in the country.
Yeah.
Indiana's not going to just lie down because the three-point line's open and not take threes. If they're open, they're open. They have skilled shooters like Cardonia Hillary proved tonight.
Well, you asked the question earlier to Coach Morin, what do you think about your team? The first words out of her mouth was, I love this team. It wasn't, we're dangerous or we've got this to work on. She loves this team, and it's a team that came back from such a great run last year.
Well, it's a team that has a lot of great chemistry. We were here at Shoot Around. Music was blasting. There was a lot of chatter. It was loud. Everyone's cheering each other on. So it's a team with a lot of chemistry, and great teams have great chemistry.
White. Good way to get in, but missed the layup. And Brown again with some force, and she drew her foul. Under 4 to go here in regulation. 4 underclassmen on the floor for Butler. Sexton, the lone senior.
That's a nice run out by Brown, just getting up the floor. And if you got a teammate running up, you best be rewarding them for putting in those miles on the ground.
Yeah.
But to your point about Butler, we've spoken to how big the experience is that they're getting right now. I've been really impressed with the play of Alex Richard, who's just come in, been really strong going against 2 experienced bigs in Indiana's Alexa Golbe and Mackenzie Holmes, and she has not backed down whatsoever. She's strong, can finish with both hands. I've been really impressed with the way she's shown that determination down low in the paint tonight.
Long 3 for White, and that's banked in. Banks open at 8:40.
After hours, man. Gotta love when that happens. Oh.
And the Hoosiers answer.
It's just so pretty and smooth. That didn't hit anything. You couldn't even hear the net swish because it just went right through perfectly.
Jackson tries to answer. That was too long. Cardano Hillary still in the game. The feed. Some more McNeil. Open again. Pure. Wow. What a night. Richard, bread and butter. She just continues to go to the box.
Such great experience for her, really gaining a lot of confidence going against this Big Ten team. She's going to be able to eat some teams up in the Big East doing those types of moves.
Goodness. Golbe. And the rebound to White.
You know, IU's taking 23 threes tonight. Coach Morin might have to up that three-point allowance for her team after the way they've shot.
Well, certainly a step in the right direction. After she admitted this morning that was probably their weak link. Not tonight.
Well, they shot 28% from beyond the arc last year. I mean, they're not necessarily shooting excellent, only 35%.
The southpaw, Moore McNeil missed that. And Butler will take it back.
Now 33% from beyond the arc, which isn't necessarily outstanding, but still a step in the right direction. We're going to see some Hoosier bench players come on in now.
Hoosiers fans here in Hinkle giving a nice hand. Caitlin Peterson into the game for the first time. 1 in crimson. Peterson, a top 50 recruit out of Alabama. And a heck of a high school career at that, as White might have twisted her ankle. She traveled, and she will limp away. And she will jog that off. Finish up the thought, though, on Peterson. An Alabama high school all-star, 25 points per game her senior year.
Is that all?
That's all.
It's a lot of points.
And she's getting a run with the big group. And she's got a chance for her first collegiate 3. That was off the rim. Hoosiers resting comfortably with just over 90 to play. White continues to pull. That rattled along and missed. Peterson, the 5'9" freshman. Grace Wagoner also into the game. 3 in crimson. 6-foot junior. Wagoner, a role player on this team, and she stepped out. Wagoner's a junior, Megan, but this will actually be her last year of collegiate eligibility. She's going to attend the Kelly School of Business next year for her MBA. So.
Really, you got to be really smart to do that, by the
yeah.
way. You have to be really smart.
More reserves checking in for Indiana. Ariel Wisney, 6'5", redshirt sophomore. Whole lot of size off that Indiana bench. We're down to the last 60 from Hinkle. And Butler right back in action at home on Saturday against Western Illinois. Offensive foul on Trinity White.
I don't think Wagner even meant to take a charge necessarily. White just went barreling in, lowering that shoulder.
Assembly Hall is going to be rocking on Sunday at 5. The Kentucky Wildcats come in. Big early season slate for Indiana. Here's the Georgia transfer, Caitlin Hose, who has not played as much as I anticipated tonight. I don't know about you.
No, I agree with you. She hasn't. But it's still really early in the season. I think a lot of freshmen, underclassmen, sophomores need to understand that just because you're not getting a ton of minutes early on in the first game doesn't mean that's how it's going to be the whole entire year. We've got 5 months of basketball coming your way.
Time.
Buckle up.
I mean, it really went from like 100 to 0 real quick around here. As that's swatted away. Peterson, the freshman, has her first collegiate points. But I mean, the NCAA tournament in Hinkle to 4 months of just quietness, and it's great to hear the stands roaring again. Men's game last night was against IUPUI. Hoosiers come to town today as Zoe Jackson, another bucket. And the Hoosiers will wait out the clock, and they'll grab their first win of the 2021-22 season. Started off close, then they really started to run away.
Hey, you got to remember, it's 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So just because you start out great, it's all about how you finish these games. Indiana made really nice halftime adjustments, able to take the pace of play back into their favor, ultimately sharing the wealth. How about Cardonia Hillary?
Yeah.
11 for 12 from the field, 29 points. Just unselfish play from Indiana, this team. 11 assists, 17 shots in this half. Really good play for the Hoosiers.